Hi, my name is Justin Kilpatrick, and today we're going to be having a live question and answering Q&A with Dr. Willie Wilson himself. Dr. Willie Wilson, thank you for allowing me in your beautiful home. Just first and foremost, why are you running for mayor?
Thank you for having us. We're running for mayor because of the condition of the city. Right now, there's, I would say, we use the word two different cities. All right, you got the wealthy, and you got the poor, and you have the people who are the least of these in terms of needed. But you also have the people who do not make that much money. You also have a community that do not receive its fair share of economic development and equality and contracts and jobs. And we're running for mayor to help make that different there. We're running to get rid of red light cameras. Mm-hmm. You know, we're running to make sure that, look, you cannot tax people who don't have the money to pay the taxes. You know, you cannot tax people to running people out of the city of Chicago. You run them to places to buy gas, grocery, over in Indiana where it's cheaper, the tax ain't higher. You run businesses out of town as well as you run family out of town. Otherwise, we run into also open back up some of those schools that were closed down as well. So get some of them open back up, and making sure that we can have school to go to. It used to be a person who's in a wheelchair could roll a wheelchair 5 blocks of school. Today, that person in a wheelchair, disabled, got to roll it like 50 blocks or 60 blocks. It's wrong. You know, they closed down 90% of the schools in the African American community and also the Latino community as well. But they didn't close down none that I know of, okay, in the Caucasian community, in those particular communities as well. So we're running for those few things, a lot more. We're running for our youth. We're running for businesses. Make sure that a young man or young lady to get out of high school or get out of college, have a trade that they can hang on to if they cannot get a job because you have a diploma. So we want to make sure those in place as well. We believe that young people that go to school, go to college, when they get out, it shouldn't be all about most of them want to work for somebody else to have a job. It should be about owning your own business in your own community, economic and empowerment.
Okay, now I like how you briefly spoke about the youth. What would you say to the younger generation who isn't coming out to vote these days?
Well, it we consider that because I'm from the Jim Crow day where that we couldn't walk on the other side of the street. A lot of people have died and lost their life. Some people still in prison today. They have the right to vote. You know, voting is better. You have a say-so. You can get your own people into office. You know, don't get mad or discouraged by not going to the poll and vote. You know, get mad by coming out to vote. Run your own people to be mayor of the city of Chicago, alderman. You know, run your people to be state rep and things of that nature. Run your people to be, you know, the head of the police department and education. I say there's a lot of reasons that you should come out and vote. Look, if you don't want to vote, then you're hurting yourself and other population to come. Mm-hmm. All right. If you're voting, you begin to have a voice, and you make sure that you can vote people in office that are going to help people like you and I and other people. I just think that you should reconsider it, not to let somebody depress you. When people don't vote, it's like having your mind, it's like being in prison because your mind is kind of locked up and mad, and they're kind of putting you in prison. Mm-hmm. That's how I describe it and everything, you know? Not voting is kind of like not eating, you know? So I encourage everybody to come out and vote.
Okay, and with the voting, what would you say to the critics who saying that you're buying your votes with the perception of you buying votes is giving out hard, cold cash to the individuals that you see on a day-to-day basis?
Well, if the critic look at it this way here, I don't have to buy a vote. We've been giving out money for the last 25 to 30 some years, you know, to people who on the street, gotten out of jail, don't have IDs to take, then have a check to cash a check, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing this way before election time. All they gotta do is just check my record. Just Google me up, or go to my website, williewilsonmayor.com, and look and see what's going on there. I'd say those people, critics who are saying that, my word be to them, I suggest they go and see Dr. Phil, you know.
Okay.
And don't want to see Dr. Phil, see Oprah Winfrey.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to see her, see a nearest psychiatrist. I'll probably pay for it myself.
So you want them to seek help?
Yeah, seek help.
Okay, and you also, you're very huge on giving back to the community economically. What would you say to the individuals regarding college tuition and the debts?
Well, there's a lot of young men, young ladies who need to go to college, but don't have money to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the city of Chicago should take care of its citizens by offering those who cannot afford it a free education to college.
Do you believe education should be free?
I believe education should be free. We're the most powerful nation in the world. In China, education is free.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of other places around the country, education is free. What is happening when it's not free, you leave a lot of your society on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they don't have the technology, the knowledge, at least give it to them. As you look at people gonna be making cars, these cars is technology driving themselves. You know, sending, you know, information, rocket past the moon to Pluto and all those particular places. This is a going thing, latest technology. You know, trains and trucks gonna be driving themselves down the road. So truck drivers today, as you see it, 3, 4, 5 years down in the future, it won't be that. The technology taking over and run the country. So you need that, but we need the money to make sure that our people that are less fortunate can be able to get to college. My suggestion would be, look, let's make a way to take care of citizens. Let's get the dollars and put it into a trust fund for those who cannot afford it, to make sure they can get a good education, just like the people downtown or North Lakeshore Drive and neighborhood who can afford it. They get their kid to college and everything else because they can afford it. So, but yet, you know, they're in business in Chicago. They're getting from the poor the dollars, taxpayer dollars too. We must make the thing fair. I take free education for those who cannot afford it, and I'll work hard to get that done as your mayor.
All right. And for those who are just not tuning in on the Facebook Live, we are live with a Q&A with Dr. Willie Wilson himself, as well as Instagram. And Dr. Willie Wilson, I want to ask you, you speak highly on the community. You spoke what motivates you to run again. What would you think would be the different outcome on this election that you're currently running for?
Well, different outcome that I'm going to win. Mm-hmm. You know, and in the past when we ran, this present mayor right now helped me off the ballot prior to election day. I was on 4 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. All right, he fought it, and it cost me pretty much close to $1 million to fight him in the election board. This time we started earlier. We visited all the 7-7 community. He's out now. This is his last turn, as you well know. And we blocked him out because he's a disgraced mayor.
Okay, for those who may not know, just elaborate a little bit more about what do you mean by he kept you off the ballot?
Well, when you're running for election, anybody can protest, right? And when they protest it, that means that you gotta go and hire lawyers, bring more people in, and check all your petition, your signature. Now at that time we had 70,000 signatures. And you can just protest, but the judge you have to check it out and see whether it's true or not. And so he did that, but we fought him and we went through the process and we had to pay people to come in and count the petition as well as pay lawyers that fight it as well. That cost us a lot of money. And then we could not concentrate on getting in the community, talking to the community, sharing our views and things of that nature, because it took our time up to take, then be fighting for the, get on the ballot. But those things that did, that those who wanted to donate, if that was the case, to the campaign, they didn't believe that we was gonna make the ballot, you know? So, but we'll prove it different, so that's in the past. Now he's not there, but we're gonna do what it takes to get on the ballot this time, 12,500. We already have over 70,000 already good.
Okay. And what do you believe is CPS's biggest problem?
Finance. CPS is Chicago Public School. It's finance. A lot of the teachers into certain communities don't have a good wages. You know, right now a lot of schools closed. You know, and if you got a particular neighborhood don't have the school into their community, a lot of young men and young ladies quit school. You know, now if they can find money to put in downtown, in O'Hare, billions and billions of dollars, you can certainly find the money to keep those schools open and pay a living wage to those teachers. First, those school teachers got to go in their pocket, buy a book for young men and young ladies. No, that should not happen. Now the biggest problem is for a certain community, there is no school in certain communities. You know, so we got to get some of them moving back up and put them there, latest high tech technology and things of that nature. So they got a lot of problems got to fix, but we'll fix it, and we'll fix it with new revenue coming in and putting education first on the list for our young people, so that they can get out and get a good education, get a good job and things of that nature. Otherwise, we're destroying a whole population of citizens in Chicago.
All right, and what is the new revenue that you need in order to bring these teachers in? Speaking of that, you said the CPS biggest problem, their finances and the budgeting. What new revenue streams would you like to bring in for these teachers to be able to maintain their position, their jobs in these CPS schools? As well as, how do you plan to reopen these schools that have then been closed?
We need the revenue. First off, 25 to 30% of the revenue is mismanagement. How did I know that? Because the present mayor have took the pension from the school teacher, the fire department, the police department, and mismanaged it, and have had a lot of problems with the police department and in terms of disorder. You know, police and shot to the corner, McDonald's, and on and on and on. It's just close to $1 billion, I believe. I believe it's 700 and some odd million or something like that. Dollars just been out here from police doing wrong, you know? That's mismanagement, all right? Take the other side of it, you bring in a casino that people can now go to a casino here in Chicago versus going to Hammond, Indiana, or out in all that. That's about $2 billion a year right there with revenue.
So the casino would be a huge economic boost for Chicago.
Yes, but it needs to also be understood this year. You have other sources you can get it from too. Mag Field, that was $500 million there when they closed that down. The other one, I said legalize marijuana, tax it, and that's another $2 or $3 billion there. Now, here's where I would say to do that as well. I think it has to be citizen-owned, meaning you got youth, adult, African American, Caucasian American, Latino American. All of them have to have a stake into it. Okay, so it's not a casino, an airport, or a place like Texas that did marijuana. Everybody got a piece of it. Our young people should own some of that as well. And that way you got economic empowerment within the community. So those revenues there, you set aside a particular resources over that trust and help pay for these young men and young ladies to to have the necessary dollars to take care of the community.
All right. And what do you believe is the youth biggest problems, and how do you plan on helping us?
Well, again, I believe that we have to focus on the youth in terms of you get out of high school, you get out of college. I believe we have to have trade within the high school and the college. But I also believe you got to go back to grade school, put trade in there. We must take that and prepare a trade. So when you get out of trade, those $10 billion roughly a year budget, City of Chicago, that they do business with people outside Chicago, and they do business with the unions, they do business with the other, Caucasian things like that within the community. So we must put trade into our school, and when they get out, they can own a trade, but more important, they can own their own particular business because they got the trade, they know how to do it. Now, we'll say, how do you do that? You take those dollars, trust, and you create grant, and a grant that you can borrow the money, and then you can pay it back once you get started up in your business. Now, I use the word grant because if you say, okay, go to the bank and get the money, the bank gonna check the record. The bank gonna check the record. They don't have good credit. They don't have credit established. They don't have business experience. So that push you right out. But if you got a grant, they don't put all those big rules and regulations there, which by the way, those are your own taxpayer dollars from the community. You take those and you help our youth to get into business and get started. And raising a family, is important. But you also got to look back at this too. Is that maybe you're middle class, but when you get out of college, you shouldn't have all that debt hanging over your head that you cannot afford to pay back for those who just don't have it. So that don't burden down the youth to pay that particular bill. And even at that, let's say those that can't pay it back, well look, just put a budget together and work it out. But also if you run into got sick or lost a job or something like that, we have to make sure that look, no problem. Hold that up, don't let it run your credit until you get back on your feet. That's helping you. Because somebody get down, you shouldn't be strong.
Okay, so you firmly believe the youth is the future?
I don't believe, I know it is. It is the future. And we should be very concerned about that. That's one of the reasons why I'm running for mayor, among some of the other things. But right now, the country is in the youth's hand if they want to step up to the plate. The minority community is not stepping up to the plate as opposed to the Caucasian community. Those young men, young ladies is finished college, getting those degrees, they getting those jobs and things of that nature there. So we have to make the playing field evenly. If the white community got the dollars over here, African Americans don't have the dollars over here, we must make sure that we can create grant forgiveness of loan, things of that nature, so they will have the dollars to do what they need to do, and they will make sure that they'll have the good education that would take care of them and their family, but take care of the generation behind them.
Okay, and speaking of the youth, we're seeing a lot of youth lives being taken away, specifically from the police department. What strategies and plans do you plan on implementing if and when elected the mayor of the city of Chicago?
Well, it ain't. I don't use the word if. It's when. Because if create doubt. I've never not gotten what I wanted out of life by hard work. If I haven't gotten what I wanted out of life, it's because I changed my mind and decided I want to go a different direction. Okay. But once I set my mind to something, I've gotten everything. I work hard, faith and hard work to make sure to do that. All right. And so the police department obviously is not what I would call integrated. Right now, you got a lot of the white police and all black community. All right. You don't have so you don't have all black police officers in the Caucasian community, Latino community. All right. You have to integrate the police department to create the morale that equal work, equal pay. You must put white, black, and cars together, Latina and white and cars together, and African American. Once you do that, people can begin to talk to one another, understand better what the problems are. We would create a force that we would have 4 superintendent policemen, and we divide the city into 4 different segments. Right now, there are 50 aldermen in the city of Chicago trying to run a different ward. 50 of them. Take 4, make these superintendent police African American, white, Asian American, Latina American, and other. We must make sure that create the morale of, and also a fairness, you know, and the dollars must be fair and distributed properly as well. And you put African American, Latina American in the homicide just as you do the Caucasian. And that would stop a lot of it. But then you also create a board. You create a board that made up citizens, all right, law enforcement, community leaders, to make sure that we will oversee those particular every decision that comes down. If somebody takes and treats somebody wrong, those that bring it to our attention, and we'll deal with those problems. But mainly you have to have inclusion into the mayor office. I propose this, is that every department that in the mayor office in Chicago, we create a task force that will investigate on a quarterly basis each department to get rid of corruption and make sure that nobody's doing anything wrong. We must protect our citizens.
And Dr. Wilson, I want to ask you, what made you switch directions from the work camp?
From the what camp?
Work camp.
Work camp? You mean from down south? The work camp?
Yes.
That I was in?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, when the work camp, if you're talking about the work camp down into Florida, I ran away from home at age 13 to Florida. We were put into a work camp there where we picked tomatoes and butter beans. Right? It was, in other words, it was slavery. We made 20 cents per hour in Louisiana, but the work camp we made a little bit more. It was $1.10 roughly per hour in the work camp. But when we worked 3 or 4 months, we had to stay, and we didn't get. We had to, eat. And so the man said that we don't owe you guys no money. That's what do you mean? We worked 3 months. They said, well, you didn't work all of the 3 months. You all worked with 49 of us. You all only worked some of the time, but you still owe us for a room and board. And so we ran away off that particular work camp and went from Delray Beach, Florida, down on the other side, south of Miami, a place called Mexico, Florida, and Princeton, Florida. And we got that, but that was literally slavery down in that part. So there was no future. I ran away from home to Louisiana. Getting down there, we got into a work camp down in that situation. We refused to be slaves.
All right. And how do you feel about the women's rights here in Chicago? What is it that you plan to implement, as well as empowering and having women gain more advantages in the workforce?
Well, same as we do with the people that work for us. Right now, we got my company called Omark Medical Supplies. We got more female than male. And each one of them, our average, if you take all the average employees that we have, all of them, the average rate is over $100,000 a year. Equal work, equal pay. You gotta have the skills, training. If you don't have the skill, then we have to put a place that you can get skill. But we'll make sure that everything, that there will not be any discrimination against anybody because you're a female. I was raised by a female, which was my mother. Because my father all the time, went to work, and we didn't see him maybe once a week on a Sunday. Then even on a Sunday, had to go back. So we were pretty much raised on our mother. And so we just believe equal work, equal pay. Need what needs to be done. If you're a single parent, things of that nature, we must be able to support in terms of what is needed support. But we will also enlist the common of the female to help us get more insight on what we should do. They'll be mixed up, reflect the population within our administration to help keep a balance.
Okay. And when you are elected the new mayor of the city of Chicago, what is your number one priority that you plan to change?
Well, economic equality and contracting job, and that help knock down the violence. Because if you can put resources within the community, the violence goes down. You know, so we need the empowerment of contracts and job and get our school and things back up open. So you make that kind of 3 in 1, like, all right, but you need them all to work. If you don't have the economic, then you can't very well give a person a good education. You know, you don't have that, you can't very well get the jobs and the things of that nature to pay. And we must take a look at this union situation. The union must have, with all citizens, some type of trade apprentice program to help train, because the fact of it is they're getting the dollar and they're paying not the good dollars as opposed to the community. Some job that pays like on job, they pay $12 per hour. But if you got the experience along with the union, some of those guys making $200 or $300 per hour. So that's what we would make sure that take place.
All right. And how do you feel about PACs? PACs meaning the Political Action Committee, and are you getting funded by them?
My PAC is the Citizens of Chicago, but not only that, my PAC is my own money. You know, I would not be controlled by anybody. You know, my PAC is my own money.
And are you in favor of property tax exemption?
I'm in favor of not taking people home because they cannot pay their property taxes. I'm in favor of setting up a program that if you cannot afford your home, work out a plan with the city to make sure your home not bought from, I call it tax scavenging. You know, let them keep their home, work it out when you get back to work and can't afford to do so.
All right, and just want to reiterate, my name is Justin Kilpatrick. We are inside Dr. Willie Wilson's beautiful home. We are live with the Q&A via Facebook and Instagram. And Dr. Willie Wilson, I want to ask you, for those who may not know, you did run for president, the previous presidential election, as well as mayor. What is the biggest change that you see within yourselves from those previous elections?
Big change is that I got a lot more education. A lot of things I thought I knew, didn't know. When I ran for president, I'll give you an example. When I ran for president, we were down in South Carolina. So this governor and people in South Carolina at that time, they was taking then honoring a flag. It was a Confederate flag. They was honoring it. So that would cost like $5 million. So over here, you had people when the storm just came through. You had people who were living in their home, but the water was up like 6-7 feet, and still living in that, and didn't have food to eat. So I've learned how do people survive in those type of conditions, how they feel to it. You can kind of speculate on it, but you never know until you're in person there. And so obviously I called the government out in terms of looking at the Confederate flag versus the human situation, getting that taken care of. And the other thing we're seeing people don't have. We're seeing people right there on the street. We learn about politics, and we learn about a lot about, look, you can be Democrat or Republican, but you should not ever side with a party because it's a party. You side with what's right for your community. You know, I look at it this way. I've been Democratic pretty much all my life, but I'm also independent. You know, so being independent, I learned one thing: don't take money from any party if they're gonna dictate to you what to do. You do not do that. In order to keep yourself free from all of it, just as I've done here now, I put 99.99% of the money in my campaign with the president, the mayor last time, and the mayor this time. so nobody can dictate to me what to do.
All right. And so, are you in favor of the union? And if so, what is it that you plan to do to empower the union?
In favor of union, I'm in favor of anything that have what you call equality for its citizen. If there's a union out here that don't have equality in contract and job, then we gotta sit down and talk about it, But equality within the union. So I'm in favor of anything, whether you call it a union or anything else. I'm in favor of it as long as they have equality. If they do not have equality in job and contract, then we got some issues there.
All right. And how do you feel about rideshare, specifically speaking about Uber and Lyft, as far as their driving cap similar to what has currently been done in New York City right now?
Well, what I feel about Uber in those particular situation, and I know how the situation is here in Chicago, I think there should be some people of color, some ownership.
Now, speaking of ownership, you are a successful businessman. Well, how do you feel about entrepreneurs not really being emphasized in these college educations?
Well, we gotta change that. We gotta teach minority and people of color that the way of the future is owning your own business, because that way you own your own business in the community. If you get ready to retire, that business stays in the community and hired from the community. It's a person own a business outside the community and get ready to retire, those jobs goes away. It's important because it's the foundation of the community. Your businesses in your community help pay your taxes and things of that nature, and help educate people and things of that nature as well. Entrepreneur, in my opinion, is the way of the future. Now, everybody not cut out to be an entrepreneur, but if a certain amount of entrepreneur within the community, they can hire the young men and young ladies within that community. I'm not saying you don't have to go outside, but it's all you got to be a balance there. Those are the future. I'm entrepreneur because I want to be free and independent, which what I am now today.
You are an entrepreneur, successful businessman, but you are an artist. Just tell me a little bit, how has sensation been a creative outlet for you?
Well, I lose maybe $200,000 a year on sensation. Lose. Mm-hmm. But I did it so that people can have a play, particularly in this case here, the minority community, can have an outlet. They can come and sing, praise the Lord, and they can use their talent.
So how are you losing money?
Because I don't have any sponsorship of it, pretty much. I got one sponsorship, and that is on the show. But beside that one sponsorship, I go in my pocket. I pay for the production of the TV show. I pay for the time on the air. For the TV station, because that's not free. When you see it on air, those dollars come out of my own pocketbook. So we give an outlet for our citizens to display that all minorities is not bad. We got talent like anybody else.
Would you plan to keep Chicago as a sanctuary city?
We will keep it a sanctuary city, and I know that's a very controversial situation there. But here's why we would keep Chicago a sanctuary city. I was and still is in certain places discriminated against myself. When I ran for president of the United States of America, they wouldn't allow me on the podium to speak, but they allowed other people to do so. When I ran for president 4 years ago, all right, they wouldn't allow me on only 15 states, 12, 15 states. The other state, they would not allow me to get on the ballot. President. All right, this is lunatic. Okay, all right. So, but when the African American come from overseas, a lot of them not even allowed in the United States. When the African American people come from Haiti, they let them drown in the boat, all right, of water, all right. But when somebody from Russia, Australia come over here, they accept it. How can I go against not having a sanctuary city and our people, certain people being discriminated against and others not being? So yeah, I am definitely for a sanctuary city. It's wrong to discriminate, period.
All right, you spoke on the reopening of the Chicago public schools. Do you plan on reopening some of these medical clinics that have shut down?
We need them all open up. I think right now we need more. But you know what? I tell you what. We need to put up more of that, but we need to also that every clinic, every doctor in the city of Chicago, okay, that those centers that's sitting there, they should be able to go into clinic nearby their community. If you're in Cook County, that's one thing. If you live near the Northwestern, you should go there. If you live into other parts, St. Luke hospital, you should be able to go there too. You know, because look, go to the nearest doctor or the clinic within your community, and just as we have to pay for the other clinic, we should pay for it right there in your community if you need your service and things of that nature. So we should do that. But we need more than just 12 to open up, and we need them in the community. You know, because the 12 centers doesn't get you all over Chicago. You know, so go to the doctor nearby you at the hospital, and the city will take and pay for your service right there.
Okay. And you spoke on economic issues within the city of Chicago as far as you wanting to open a casino here in Chicago. What do you feel about the legalization of marijuana?
Definitely. First of all, you're gonna smoke it anyway. you know. So smoke it, tax it, pay your taxes. Don't put our kids in jail and for smoking marijuana and let them out and they got a record. Don't even raise the record on them kids, all right? But over in certain part of Chicago and the other part of town, they don't put them in jail. They don't give them a record. You know, so be fair about it. Let's do things equally. Let's legalize it. Let's tax it. Let some of the minority own equal proportion ownership of those marijuana clinics.
Because marijuana is legal in several states in the United States of America. Why hasn't it been legal in Illinois yet?
Well, you know what? I tell you the truth about it this much here. I don't know the answer on that one yet, no more than I guess they got certain laws, certain people that does it. But yet now they say that they legalize it, but still no. If you people color, a lot of people just haven't got up to par every day. But here's the other thing that I would do. Every person that's been in Cook County jail or in the state of Illinois for misdemeanor, nonviolent, that got put in jail because they were using marijuana. Every person, let all of them out. Every one of them out of jail. You know. So those are things that we must look at. Don't lock up our kids and our youth because they using marijuana, but over here they don't lock them up.
So it's an unfair treatment.
Unfair treatment, and then if you happen to be got a problem or hook on a particular drug, in this case if it's marijuana, then you don't send them to jail. You send them to a clinic to get help and to get well.
Okay, now is there any strategies you plan besides reopening these medical clinics, reopening some of these schools that's closed down? How would you be an advocate for specifically African American males for them going to seek help when they might be mentally going through depression or some other mental illnesses that's going on with them?
Well, I think this here, look, if you pick me up every time I go stand on a corner walking with some friends and put me in jail, I'm gonna be mentally ill myself. Okay? Fairness, you know. And if there happen to be a problem, okay, you make sure you're free of charge and go and get help, counseling, medication, things of that nature. A lot of people cannot go and even if they get help when they get out, they don't have the money to buy medication. We got a lot of young men out of jail and ladies out of jail for misdemeanor and nonviolent, and maybe they made a left turn on red light. They was in there a year or 2 years and didn't have $100 to get out. Right? So we have to take and look at this thing in a way that making it fair to everybody. 98% of most people that's in these jails around the state of Illinois as well as Cook County are African American. 98 or more, or 99% of the contracts in Cook County is owned by white. Unfair.
All right, so you want to make it fair, but how would you make it affordable as well?
We'll make it affordable to those resources and those particular situations that we take these tax dollars as well as the tip dollars and invest back in those communities, put a grant together, put training together, so that'll help ease up the burden and making sure that those resources are used within those communities. But another thing that we will make sure that we got people that oversee these particular situations. But you know, the idea of we need fairness. We need fairness. We need to know what's right. You know, now discrimination exists between white and black and Latina and others. All right. I don't know, can you really train a person not to be racist or not? All right. But you really can put things in place of fairness and put laws in place, enforce it, and got guidelines to make sure they go right. You know, anybody who treated unfairly or feel they treated unfairly by an unjust system are going to cause problems. You know, if you're hungry, you can't get food to eat, you're gonna go out here and you're gonna steal it. You know, but if you got resources out here, it's a whole different situation altogether. Everybody wants to be felt important and being important. You know, but the condition of presenting. If you look at now, 27% of the city of Chicago is roughly African American. 28% of the population of Chicago pretty much Latinos, and the other the Caucasian and Asian. All right, that in the city of Chicago and pay taxes, but less than 1% or 0.5% of minority have contracts. You know. Mm-hmm. So what are you doing? You know, I don't think there's a big problem with getting this problem straightened out in fairness. If you got the right person in office, which would be myself, as opposed to the person in office right now, it got elected by people of color and have done this unjust situation for us down.
And do you plan to work with the Secretary of State to help the citizens of Chicago get their licenses back after paying their debts and or serving time?
Well, I don't think that I would definitely will do that, because see, first of all, you know, if it ain't happened to people in other part of the particular city of Chicago or state, people gotta have license for identification. People gotta have a license to be able to have cars and drive themselves to work. You know, we can't handicap them that way. You know, we got to make sure they get those licenses back so they can raise families and they can get to work. We got to stop booting these cars that out here. We got to stop putting people in jail when they don't even know the reason why they're in jail. But yeah, we will work with the Secretary of State to make sure they get their license back, that they can have a way, a means of getting to work to raise their family.
And development can be good for neighborhoods who need it, but it oftentimes leads to gentrifications. When elected, what will you do to make sure communities have a voice in any commercial development that will happen in their community?
The community always should have and will have a voice in what's going on in their community. You know, if we will put a panel together to go out and make sure that they oversee those particular situations, those communities, right? The other thing is that we'll have citizens that advise the mayor office itself as well, that if anything been done unjust, it brought to my attention that we would take it and fix it. We all not going to read everything or everything that comes out, but what we got to do is have inclusion. We have inclusion. People put input into the mayor office. For example, we will have the people in middle class, people in Chicago City Hall. We will have inclusion, the wealthy included. We also have included the least of these included. We will also have the people who sleeping on Wacker Drive or on the street included part of the administration. And the last thing we'll also have included the people who need second chances, because they are citizens as well. because that way we can run a city and we got all the input versus excluding anybody, but include all those things.
All right, Dr. Willie Wilson, this is my last question. Having personally been affected by gun violence, how can Chicago curb the senseless violence in our neighborhoods?
Well, we again, you have to have resources coming in. But the question I didn't quite understand when you said Godfather.
Gun violence.
Gun violence, okay, gun violence, I'm sorry. Gun violence, right. I believe this. You know, I don't know what necessarily like gun violence per se. Like for example, I think it's 50, 60, 7% of the gun violence that people lose their life from gun is people who kill themselves, suicide. Yeah. I think the other is that people get guns and rob people because they don't have the resources in there to help support their families. I was talking to a 13-year-old young man, all right, had been in jail over and over again and had these cuffs around their leg. And he walked up to me and he said, how do you expect for me to take and not go out here and rob people when I got a mother at home on drugs, I got a sister at home on drugs, and I got a baby sister that is trying and don't have food to eat. He said, I gotta go out and rob somebody to feed them. Now, if they had a job and resources there, he wouldn't have been thinking that, you know. So I said it had to be about resources, you know. The person who's on the street, the people that we got out of jail, they told me one thing: Doc, when you get us out of jail, just find us a job. Obviously, we've been here that long and don't have $100 to get out. We don't want to be stuck in jail because drug doesn't pay and crime doesn't pay, you know. So it's people that take the gun, and a lot of people go to personal problems and commit suicide. But a lot of problems too is because the condition don't have the resources in there. And a lot of people just give up on life. You know, and you depress those communities, people begin to think, and people don't have no place else to go. All right? I would change this whole situation because I've been through violence. Understand this. And I understand violence probably more than the average person out here. I had a 20-year-old son that was shot right in the back of the head dealing with drugs. 20-year-old son. Nothing hurt no better than a parent to lose their kid. You can lose your mother or your father or your sister or your brother, but you lose your kid. That's a whole nother thing. I don't think nothing else on earth hurt bad, you know. So I have a horse in this race, and that is trying to stop this violence by putting resources in that to make sure we can put an end to it once and for all. I would not take money from the Democratic Party, you know, to be bought by nobody. You know, I use my own money. I will work for the people. I don't need a job at 70 years old, you know. And any critic that's out here who says anything else, otherwise then I'm doing it from my heart, they need to check out themselves. A lot of other people that are running for office don't even have the money to be and run in the first place, you know. So you have to question that too.
All right, Dr. Willie Wilson, is there anything you would like to say to those live viewers before we exit this Q&A?
Well, I like to say this. I solicit their help and their support by keep track of us with WillieWilsonForMayor.com. WillieWilsonForMayor.com. We need to take one block at a time. We need to make phone calls. We need to put out signs and things like that. They want in their yard. You know, we need to understand this here is that I would never sell out because I'm already been bought for my religion by Jesus Christ, right? So can't nobody buy me, you know. And you get me for free, you know. I got the experience. I've been poor, you know. I've been through the violent situation, loss of a son, you know. And we're in a situation where that we can make a good living where we want. I won't die having 10, 15, $20 million in the bank, but we'll die enough if something happens to me, my family's taken care of. And if something happens to me, get sick, we will take care of. If you have food to eat, if you got food to eat, your refrigerator is full, there's no need to put more food in the refrigerator. You know, if you come out now and put a person that don't need the food, the reason for it is help strength. My job is to help those who cannot help themselves. And I solicit their prayer first, and next I solicit their vote. And don't be fooled by anybody who coming out here to, I say this too, don't be fooled by the entertainment comes out here that really just came on the scene because they are rappers and things of that nature. Be aware of those type of things. Let's work for economic empowerment. Let's work for ownership, you know, of our business and our community. You know, I just caution the young people for this and that. You know, everybody's not gonna be a basketball player. Everybody's not gonna be a rapper or a singer. You know, but everybody can have a good job, a good living, and everybody they hard desire to own their own business. I'm here to fix it. Chicago needs change, and you're looking at the change.
All right, well, Dr. Wilson, it's been an honor and a privilege. I enjoyed this live Q&A with you. I wish you the best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.